It's squidding season in Australia, and catching squid is actually pretty easy, especially if you know everything that I'm going to be showing you in this video. Let's dive in. Now, to get started, we're going to look at size selection. The best way to choose the right size squid jig is by matching it to the species of squid that you're targeting. So for example, if you're land-based on a wharf or a jetty, you're most likely going to run into juvenile arrow or southern calamari. In that situation, you'd want to use a size 1.5, a size 1.8, a 2.0, and sometimes the 2.2 does okay as well. The smaller the size of the squid you're targeting, the more effective the smaller jigs are. Whereas when you're fishing from rocks or a boat, you're more likely to run into adult squid. So when it comes to southern calamari and arrows, if you're going to be running into adults, you want to use a size 2.5, a 3.0, or a 3.5. Again, just like you would use a bigger bait for a bigger fish, you would use a bigger size jig for a bigger size squid. Now, one really important thing to be aware of is the size of the jig. For example, this size 3.5 has nothing to do with the weight of the jig. This is just the length of the jig in inches, excluding the barbs. I've seen so many people make the mistake of thinking that the size 3.5 means that the jig weighs 3.5 grams, whereas a size 3.5 jig, depending on the brand, can weigh anywhere from 19 to 25 grams, and anything in between. So it's really important not to get the size of the jig confused with the weight of the jig. Always check the packaging of the jig that you buy, because it does vary from brand to brand, to confirm the weight of the squid jig and make sure it's compatible with your rod. Now, of course, you still can catch bigger squid on smaller jigs or smaller squid on bigger jigs. It's just not as effective. It's way better to use a smaller jig for your smaller size squid or a bigger size jig for your larger size squid. Now, moving on to color selection. When it comes to color selection, that's determined by water conditions as well as the squid activity levels. If the squid are not very active but the water is relatively clear, you want to use your more natural colors, like these colors on the right side. Whereas if the water is a little murky or if the squid are really active, you want to use your brighter colors, like these colors on the left side. Now, the one tip I can give you that has helped me catch more squid than anything else is to cycle through your colors. Give each color 3 to 4 casts. If you don't get any bites, you change to another color. And you want to cycle through all your colors every 3 to 4 casts. Keep cycling through colors until you start getting bites. Once you start getting bites, you want to stick with that color until they switch off again, and then continue cycling through colors. Once you've tried all your colors, if you haven't had any bites, you want to move 5 or 10 meters and start the process all over again. If you squid like this, it's really rare that you end up coming home empty-handed. Remember, cycle through all your colors, then move 5 to 10 meters, and start again. Now, in addition to colors, you've also got different underfoils. Now, the foil is wrapped around the body of the jig and then covered with a fabric, which is what gives the jig its actual color. Now, for example, this pink foil jig, you'll notice when the light bounces off it, it has a pink shine to it. Whereas if you were to look at an orange foil jig, when the light hits it, it's got an orange shine to it. Same with this red foil. If you have a look, it's got like a red shine under that fabric. That's how you identify what color foil is under your fabric. Now, when it comes to underfoils, using the right foil at the right time does have a massive impact on your actual catch rate. For example, during sunrise, you would want to use a pink foil, an orange foil, or a gold foil, like these jigs here. Whereas once the sun's up, you want to use a silver foil, a gold foil, or a holographic jig, like these jigs here, for example. Whereas during the sunset, you want to use an orange, a pink, or a red foil, like these jigs here, for example. Now, if you're squidding at night, the most effective foil colors are either your purple foil or your red foil. But at night, a full body glow is more effective than your red and purple foils. Now, you'll notice the full body glow jigs don't have any type of foil wrapped around the body. That's because all the jigs that do have underfoils stop the glow from being visible through the actual fabric of the jig. So with your glow jigs, there's no foils to complicate things. You just basically want a full body glow, and that will be the most effective at nighttime. And you also have your rainbow foils, which is a mixture of all the different foil colors that's supposed to be sort of an all-rounder that you can use sunrise, sunset, daytime, or nighttime. But the specific foils do outperform the rainbow foils most of the time. Now, before moving on to what sort of gear you should be using for squidding, there's one last thing we need to cover with squid jigs, and that's sink rates. Now, when it comes to sink rates, it will vary from brand to brand, so you really do need to check the packaging. For example, these 3 jigs are all size 3.5 but have completely different sink rates. This is a faster sinking jig with a sink rate of 2 seconds per meter. This is a standard size 3.5 with a sink rate of 3 seconds per meter, as shown right there. And then this is a slower sinking jig with a sink rate of about 6 seconds per meter, as mentioned on the packaging. The reason the sink rate is so important is because the squid will actually hit the jig as it's sinking, not while it's moving. Also, knowing the sink rate of your squid jig helps you avoid snags. For example, if you're fishing in 6 meters of water and you're using a standard size 3.5 squid jig, which you know sinks at 3 seconds to the meter, you know you've got 18 seconds before your jig is on the bottom. Whereas if you're fishing in 6 meters of water and you're using the slow sinking jig that sinks at 6 seconds per meter, that gives you 36 seconds before you're on the bottom. Obviously, you need to factor in how strong the current is as well, but it gives you a rough idea of how long you need to wait before you start working your jig to avoid snags and lose a lot less jigs. Now, when it comes to your fishing rod selection, you don't need anything fancy as long as the cast weight of your rod matches the weight of the size squid jigs you plan on using. For example, this size 2.0 squid jig weighs 6.5 grams. This size 2.5 squid jig weighs 10 grams. This 3.0 squid jig weighs 15 grams. And this size 3.5 squid jig weighs 21 grams. So for example, if you had this rod with a cast weight of 2 to 10 grams, you would be fine casting your size 2.0 and 2.5 because they both fall within that cast weight. Whereas your size 3.0 and 3.5 would be too heavy for this rod, so you wouldn't get the right action, and there's a good chance you even snap your tip when you're casting. Whereas if you were using this rod with a cast weight of 4 to 14 grams, you're now not going to get a very good cast with your size 2.0 because it's too close to the bottom end of that cast weight, but you'll still get a great cast with your 2.5, and you'll even be able to cast your 3.0, but the rod is still too light for your 3.5 because it weighs 21 grams. But if you were using this rod, for example, with a cast weight of 6 to 28 grams, you'll now get a great cast with your 3.5, you'll get a decent cast with your size 3.0, but you won't get a very good cast with your size 2.5 or your 2.0 because they're too close to the bottom end of that cast weight. So this is where using an actual squidding rod can be very helpful. You'll notice on squidding rods, they specifically tell you the actual jig size that the rod's designed for. So this rod, for example, can cast any squid jig between size 1.8 and 4.0. So this rod should be fine for all these jigs. So regardless of which rod you choose, you just want to make sure that the cast weight of your rod matches the weight of your squid jigs. Also, you generally want to stick to a rod between 7 and 8 foot in length. Now, when it comes to your reel size, any 2500 or 3000 size reel will be absolutely fine. Again, you don't need anything fancy. Squid are nowhere near as strong as a fish, regardless of how big they are. And then for your braid, you use anywhere from a 10 to 15 pound, just depends on the diameter of the actual line. You want enough power in your braid so that if you snag, you can get your jig back, but you don't want your braid too thick, otherwise you won't be able to get a really good cast, and if you don't get a good cast, you're not going to catch much either. Now, when it comes to your leader, I generally stick with fluorocarbons, anywhere from 10, 12 or 16 pound in breaking strain. Now, up to 16 pound in breaking strain, I haven't noticed much of a difference in hit rate, or reduced hit rate, I should say, but you do lose a lot less jigs. So if you're squidding somewhere really snaggy, I do recommend going more towards the 16 pound breaking strain with your leader. Now that we've covered how to choose the right size, color, foil and sink rate for your squid jigs, as well as the right rods and reels, you should have all the information you need to make your next squidding trip a successful one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found that helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one.